Welcome to the Green Podcast Show of Environmental Productivity Organization. Today, I have with me my esteemed guest, Mr. Ahmed Kassim, who is a seasoned finance officer and served with the USAID as well. He has served at Egypt, he has served at the African region, and right now he's doing a philanthropist project at Tharparkar, feeding the diabetic children with initial phases of their livelihood. He's trying to figure out a way to make Pakistan great again, to make Pakistan green, to make the future of Pakistan a bright one. So Mr. Ahmed Kassim, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Thank you.
So how was your trip here today?
Great. No problems, no issues.
Amazing, amazing. So tell me a little bit about your finance journey and how you've been a finance officer.
Well, I came into the development world by joining USAID Islamabad. I worked at the Islamabad mission for about 11 years. And then for the last 21 years, I've been working in international development, having worked in Afghanistan, Iraq, and then several African countries. I've worked on different kinds of projects like health projects, agricultural projects, emergency programs, food delivery, so various different kinds of projects. And that's what sort of, now that the world is moving towards more, contribution and coming up with, different kinds of financing models, I think we are in a good position to help that grow in Pakistan.
Amazing, amazing. So Ahmed Kassim Saab, tell me a little bit more about finance related to environment at this point.
Well, now that with the whole thing about climate change and the carbon emission and reducing the carbon emissions and getting into more sustainable and productive, to be able to produce more in a limited space. This idea about your idea about this vertical farming actually caught my attention, and that's why I'm here to learn and also to be able to share my experience.
Amazing, amazing. So environmental finances in terms of vertical farming, it provides carbon credits, right? You can
Correct.
generate carbon credits through sustainability.
Correct.
So how about, Pakistan can tackle this issue of sustainability with intrinsic carbon credit?
Well, if you are able to generate the carbon credits by, working with the communities and help sell those carbon credits off, internationally or in the market here, there are companies that are have different funding which they allocate to projects that are offsetting carbon. So if you are able to get your buy-in into those companies, like there are oil companies, there are airlines, there are other productive ventures that emit a lot of carbon, and basically if you can get them to contribute towards the society and building the environment for sustainable development, if you're able to sell your idea to them, I'm sure you'll be able to make it in this way.
Amazing, amazing. Given that Pakistan and its state right now due to climate change, it's the most vulnerable country. In fact, it's in the top 10 countries of the world that are being affected by climate change. So why do you think sustainable projects like vertical farming or any other project that's related to sustainability would affect and do wonders with countries like Pakistan?
Well, the things are interlinked. It's not just one area that you look at. With our exponential population growth, the expansion of our urban areas, which is, let's take for example Islamabad. The surrounding lands of Islamabad was all Barani area, which is rain-fed and would produce a lot of wheat and corn, seasonal rain-fed areas. Now all of that land has now been sold off to build, housing, which is also a critical need. But then the area, cultivable area, is becoming less and less. And so this idea of vertical farming and being able to produce crops in a cycle definitely has an attraction.
Amazing, amazing. So that is what we are trying to do at EPO over here. We're trying to implement a project in which can produce, more crops, 10x the yield. It saves 95% of water, and also it's running on solar energy. So you don't have to worry about operating costs. So it's saving a lot of money that comes into the ESG, environmental social governance.
Correct.
So what are your thoughts about ESG and social corporations inducing this?
Corporations, the idea is that corporations will buy in into these projects as long as they can see a model, as long as they are able to understand what it's about. So value for money, again, it comes back to the fact that how much are you willing to invest, and what are the products that you will get out of it. So that ratio, that understanding has to be there. Nobody is going to invest into a vertical farm or a hydroponic system unless they are assured that they will be able to get their money back in a year or 2 years. So you have to tackle the marketing side with that angle.
I do understand. So with that marketing angle that you're talking about, we as a startup, we're trying to clear out all the marketing strategies at this point with the ESG coming in. So what do you suggest over here in Pakistan? Should we target global ESG markets as well?
Well, globally, yes, you can do that, but at least first try it out locally. Get investors to invest in here locally, because anybody coming from outside, what are you going to show them? You have to have your product out there. You have to have your reports there. You have to see what they produce has been. You have to show a track record before anybody else is going to finance you from abroad. So the idea, again, as we were talking outside also, the idea is to see and ensure that when you're marketing these, if you're marketing smaller units to private individuals who would be interested in, health food or health conscious, so that you're not eating food which has not been produced with pesticides. Exactly. And is pesticides free, and which is environmental friendly also. The idea is the first, I think you guys need to actually create a model which you guys can sell it out.
We have actually particularly made some models, even a prototype that's running, and we also have introduced our 5 Marla projects on some of the rooftops. There is a little bit of traction, but as a business you need recurring traction.
Correct.
You need more and more awareness.
Correct.
What I'm trying to figure out is a way that the market of Pakistan understand how we can grow without the soil and it is pesticide free. Could you give your remarks about how healthy food is impacting people of younger generations and gym people, and also they're looking for the healthy lifestyle?
You see, people in the cities are more conscious, more educated. They are health conscious. They would like to have products which are chemical free, which has been produced environmentally friendly. But you have to target that kind of audience first. You have to harness them out. And they are available in the cities. But again, the question is, you have to have literature or the knowledge or the background that you can give them. Hey, this is coming with this particular setup. We will set it up for you. We will train you. We will provide you the support required for it. And this is what produce you will get out of it. Unless you can explain what the input is and what the output is to an investor, nobody is going to invest with you.
Talking about investments, you're right. You have to give in a couple of traction, a couple of projects, and how they're going to make money out of it for an investor. But when we're talking about green companies, how can they work better with governments and also global organizations? It's just not about angel investment at this point.
Well, in corporate sector, when you look at the corporate sector, you have to target 2 sectors. You have to target what one sector is where the companies that are producing carbon, they can help you set up or finance the setup of bigger farms and where you can get more produce. The second part is where you can convince a person who is, or an organization or an entity which will use the produce. Like for example, restaurants.
Yes.
All right. Or for example, airline companies for their food and services. So you have to target those companies and organizations. So one side you have the carbon offsetting, and the other side you have this production.
Yep. So the production and the carbon offsetting, they're like to and fro motion.
Yep.
When we
Yep.
produce, that is when we can reduce the carbon, because
Correct.
we're making a
Correct.
produce through sustainable
Correct.
ways with renewable energy.
Correct. And most corporates, and especially international corporate companies that are here, take the oil companies, take the mining companies, all have social programs with their investments, and so they give back something. That is the type of people that you need to contact and that you need to harness and bring them and educate them and bring them in. For example, you have a mining company. You have a mining company which has a crew of 100 people. You have to go out there and see if they have the land, they have the potential that you can be able to produce enough food for them or to supply to their kitchen, or what can be produced and supplied to their kitchen. That's got to be your sales point.
Okay, so
And that's your sales pitch.
that's the sales pitch that you're talking about. Go to the market, tell them about the product,
Correct.
and how they're going to make money out of it, and how
Correct.
they're going to be sustainably doing their work, right?
And then from the consumer point of view, okay, fine, I'm a consumer, I use about, let's say, 2 kilograms or 3 kilograms of tomatoes,
Yeah, cherry tomatoes.
cherry tomatoes in a month. Now, how do you guarantee that I will get it every month?
Yeah, the guarantee behind it is that you can produce it at a rate of 60-day cycle. The cherry
Right.
tomato can be produced in 60 days. After that, you can get the produce out of it, have enough of it, utilize it, and then regrow on different cycles as well.
Correct.
That is why we're targeting farmhouses, so you can produce more
Correct.
and more, and with recurring cycles, not just wait 60 days for a cherry tomato farm to come and cherries to be harvested. You can have cherry tomatoes every week because their cycles are different.
Correct.
You plant it a month ago and then another month.
Right.
Yep.
You stagger the growth.
Yes.
I mean, it goes in cycles. So the growth cycle, you plant once, it gets ready in, let's say, 4 weeks. Then you plant after a week, that gets ready on the week
Fifth week.
5.
Yep.
And then you plant the 3rd week, and then you get it on the 6th week.
Exactly.
So that's staggering the produce. That's fine. But the idea is that nobody will be, I mean, to harness this, you either have to get to donors who would do this for you, who would fund
Yep.
these projects, or you have to go to big corporate businesses, and that's where you have to sell. And some of these are like, big hotels, big restaurants, chains, where you can try and tap into it. But again, my fear is that unless you are ready with the model and you have the deliverables and you have the model to show, nobody's going to be, buying it, you'll have to take a lot of convincing power to be able to sell it.
You know, many climate funds, as you've mentioned, right? They target SMEs. So we're a small, medium enterprise at this point. We're just a startup. So for a startup to generate those climate funds and to convince people that this is the future, that we're going tomorrow's futures today for you, saving you water, saving you energy, saving you a lot of time as well because it's automated. And if you're doing this practice of sustainable development, we have this carbon offset trading app as well, in which you can generate and mine the carbon credits. So how do you suggest that we as a startup go to climate fundings and go to donors to pitch this idea?
You can pitch to the idea. See, I've worked with donor funds. I've worked with USAID funds. I've worked with German funds. I've worked with funds coming in from Switzerland, different donors, European Union, including the United Nations at some points. The idea is that no donor is going to actually implement or give you project funds to utilize unless you have a proven track record.
Yes.
That you have to build. Slowly by slowly, year by year, you have to have your audited accounts, you have to be able to have your programmatic reports, which shows how much you produced, who are your clients, references. Those things you have to build, and that will take you forward. So it's a step-by-step process.
Yeah, as you've mentioned, go from the bottom and then to the top.
Yes,
Don't
that's
stay
correct.
at the top of the building and jump.
And then jump down, and jump down.
Absolutely.
So that's what the way I look at it.
Absolutely. So how about a startup culture? We do not have sufficient history of audits or any kind of reports in the previous 5 or 6 years, we cannot access those donors eventually with that strategy. So what kind of solution would you advise young entrepreneurs?
The young entrepreneurs like you and your type of organizations that are coming into this field have a lot of enthusiasm. The idea is to be able to get the networking done. If you have the network, you'll be able to meet people, you'll be able to convince people. So networking is part of it. Part of it will also be, as I was talking to you earlier, you know, you have to have what is the whole package, what does it consist of? What are the things that you're going to put into it? What is going to be the output? So if the inputs and the outputs are clearly laid out, would you be able to get funds from a donor or a philanthropist for that matter, who would buy into the idea and be able to fund a bigger farm. But the idea is that if you do not have a ready model and where you're actually producing stuff, what do you have to show?
Yeah, we have something to show. We already have some traction. 5 of the vertical farms are being operated in Islamabad, in the outskirts of Islamabad. Also, we're growing mushroom as well, oyster mushrooms, the edible ones. We have a farm at F15. But me being part of this startup culture as well, I know that grit and resilience is what it takes to be an entrepreneur at this point. I cannot give up. I have to pitch again and again to investors, and at some point I believe like I'm going insane because nobody is believing in this idea. What I'm getting as a feedback is to go abroad and do this, but that is what not our mission. EPO's mission is to give a gift from our heart, and our gift from our heart is to our country, and I want to make sure our country prospers because we are a big population, and it's mentioned by 2030 Pakistan is going to get into a drought, and that drought would make sure that our imports are going to be exponential of food. Right now we're at 2 billion import per year in our budget. So we want to stop that, and vertical farming is the way.
Is one of the ways.
Is one of the ways
and one of the means. And you're right, as far as water and water scarcity, we are a water scarce nation anyway. And then, climate change is also having its effect. So you see, if you are looking at that, the idea is to be able to pitch to somebody. Going out and doing this work, fine. You can go out and maybe you will succeed outside and you might have a better chance. But here your grit and your determination has to be reflected. Also your energy has to be channeled.
Yep.
So, a startup is fine, but how do you go about it? The methodology has to be defined very clearly. If you do not have a methodology to move up and you don't have the steps to take you up, you're not going to reach the top.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Ahmed Kassim Saab, on channeling that energy into a path where I can find the first few clients, and then it gathers all the traction, and with word of mouth, people will get to know how vertical farming works. I share your excitement on it. I feel like we're standing at a point where a green revolution is coming globally and in Pakistan as well, because you can see EV bikes and EV cars introduced in major cities. So this green revolution, where do we get that charge, and how do we lead that charge in this revolution with the startup EPO coming with the green revolution?
Again, basically it boils down to being able to produce or convince the other person on the return that he's going to get on the investment. I've said that before and I'm saying that again. The idea is like you go to a farm in Chak Shahzad, for example, and you try and sell them a vertical farm. The idea is that the person who will invest, in a large scale, 2 million or 3 million or 4 million rupees, has to know what he's going to get. So it's not only a question of marketing, it's a question of marketing in tandem. It has to be with the equipment that you're going to supply, the reliability of the equipment that you are supplying, that you have to assure them that the equipment is going to be of top quality. Then the installation process, how you're going to set it up for them. Then how are you going to train them? What's your training component in it? And then your monitoring component, which as you explained to me earlier, You all are going to do it through apps,
Yes.
which is a fantastic idea, and it can be done, and you can use AI for that. But the idea is that that know-how and the training and the monitoring has to go hand in hand.
Yes.
Then only will somebody be able to, and when the first crop comes in, yes, I got my first fruit. It's like the first flower comes out on a plant,
Yeah.
and the owner is excited all about it. So those are the steps that you guys need to take.
For the investors, we do have a strategy. That is why we're pitching to those farmhouses so they can grow for themselves and also sell the products.
Correct.
Right? So what is happening is when you invest into a 15 marla, let's just say 15 marla farm,
Okay.
you're investing around about 30 lakhs. So
Right.
that 30 lakhs would give you a return back of 10 lakhs per month. So how is the return on investment so fast on that? Which reflects to this vertical farm not only providing fresh food but as a business venture as well. Many startups or many businesses in India are doing that.
Correct.
And in the MENA region we have Aero Farms, that is a huge company.
Yes.
365D Farms, they're making millions and millions out of it. They're exporting food to London, they're exporting food to Canada.
Correct.
And
Correct.
those scarce areas in which they cannot grow their own food. This is the solution that they're providing. It's turning more like into a business revolution as well.
But again, the question is that unless you have a financial plan of what you are going to get them to grow, what they are going to be able to sell, and then what are they going to save on that. So those kinds of research has to be done and presented to them. Just coming in with the idea of a vertical farm, hey, we'll set it up for you, that's not going to be a selling point. Your selling point is going to be where you convince somebody that you're going to put in 3 million rupees, as you said, 30 lakhs. Once the money is put in, how much time will it take for me to recover it?
Yeah, so that recovery point, that return on investment and break even, it's around about 6 to 9 months depending on the crop variation you're selling, right? For instance, you're growing cherry tomatoes. Cherry tomatoes are being sold at a price of 1200 kg at the supermarkets right now.
Correct.
So the produce cost that you're getting is just 300. Now check out the return on that. You're producing 1 kgs of cherry tomatoes at 300 rupees and selling them at 1200. That's a 300 profit income, gross margin. You can sell it into the market, and that is how that cycle will give you more return on investment. And as it is sustainable, it's running on itself, right? The water is being recycled, the solar panels are placed over there for lower energy. So it's just a push of a button and an app, and you're getting money. And as a plus with the app, you're offsetting your carbon footprint.
Correct, which you can
exchange
exchange it at a later point in time. That I can understand. But the idea is that now if you're going to have 5 farmers producing cherry tomatoes in a place like Islamabad, the market is going to get saturated because you don't have users.
Yes, there are 2 farms.
The question is, the idea is that you won't have, the client has to be there, the market has to be there.
Yeah,
so cherry tomatoes is one example, but let's talk about foods which are the daily consumption foods. Okay?
I heard a joke about a friend calling me the Elon Musk of lettuce. So lettuce is a daily driven food, right? Everybody requires it in their salads. You can grow lettuce on hydroponic farms as well.
Yes, especially this iceberg lettuce and the craze with it, with the health diet.
Yeah.
The question is, as I was talking to you again, this marketing can be done. You can market it through gyms, sports areas, people who are health conscious.
Yes.
And that's the area from where you will be able to pick up clients who would be interested in investing. Now you come to me and say, I want to say, would you like to set up one in your house? Fine, I would love to set it up in my house, but then I must have the assurance of the equipment, I must have the assurance of the training facility, I must have the assurance of the monitoring facility, and then I must have the assurance that the market is there to be able to sell the excess that I am not going to consume myself. I should have that market. So you have to look at these 4 components separately. Then only will you be able to sell your product.
Yeah, so these 4 components, as you've mentioned, the product quality is there. We're getting Canadian solar that is top notch, and it will run for 40 years without any discrepancies. You just need to clear out the dust, and that it's running on itself. The pipes we're using, it's Dulex pipes, not the sewage pipes.
Right.
The Dulex pipe, they're very conservative and they do not get dirty, right? And then we have this water motors. These water motors that we're pumping from the recycle system, it's just not any recycle system. We're actually harvesting the rainwater that is being recycled. So this entity of producing the crop, it's very genuine and very sustainable. And when it comes to the product sales, you can consume it for sure. But the excessive, you can sell it yourself, but when we come in, we can sell it for you.
Correct.
That is the point.
Correct.
Where we're reducing the risk of our investors, we're reducing the headache of our clients. We can take the extra produce, pack it and sell it. Just let me show you one of our products. This is oyster mushroom in dried form. We've vertically grown it in F15 Islamabad. You can check it out yourself. Dried oyster mushrooms, right? So you can consume these in your salads, your day-to-day omelets and pizzas.
Soups and stuff. Yes.
Yeah. So the client that I had, he could not sell it, right? So I've put it in this, and now I'm selling it into the market. It's available at Save Mart. It's available at the farmers market, and it's also available at F6 organic stores.
Correct.
You can get it at a good price.
Excellent. Excellent. That's progress. That's definitely progress. And so you see, these 4 or 5 things you have to take a look into it. Then you can talk about, going ahead once you have, and then the question is, are you documenting all of this?
Yeah, that's really important. I need to document
So
it.
you need to document the stuff to show the results. So that tomorrow when you, if I am going to invest with you on a farm for my house, the first thing I will ask you, take me to 2-3 places, show me where it is installed, whom it has been installed with, and what is your reference check.
Yeah, I'll keep a good format of documentation.
Correct.
With the videos,
Correct.
with the
Correct.
sales and how much
Correct.
you're producing.
Correct.
You're absolutely correct on that. But if you could give a message to global investors and how EPO and vertical farming, what would be the message?
You see, vertical farming is just coming into our country. This is already being done in places like Japan, and for years and years and years and generations of people have been doing it. The idea is that to be able to be, it's again two-pronged. One is that the health conscious people that are already existing, those are the people that you would be targeting. And then the other odd thing is that you at the same time have to educate people to make them health conscious, to be able to use this stuff. And it doesn't have to be at a very high level. I have seen this hydroponics especially being used in Afghanistan in small households, where small households were given small units and they were producing food for themselves. The extra they were selling into the market. So there are models like this that exist. You need to make more research, more look into that. And then as far as the message for a startup like yours, guys, go for it. Have the drive for it. But at the same time, have a direction and a plan, a business plan, a proper business plan that takes you from step 1 to step 2 to step 3 to step 4. So the flow is there, and then you can reach your target.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much for this message. EPO is not just a green solution, it's driving sustainability, and it's also, the system is profitable. You can get a lot of money out of it.
Correct.
And if you're targeting as just a hobby, because when you go back to history, let's talk about history. Farming has been there since long, right?
Correct.
And vertical farming was there before. When I was doing my research, I came to know that the Greeks, they used to do farming on water. And there are images that they have this floating meadows in which farming is done. Boatsmen came and produced, grow products for them, produce from them. This concept shifted when industrialization came in, and vertical farming was eschewed and gone. Back in the 1980s, 1990s, people started to learn more about it and started to grow more. There are a lot of spas and very particular resorts, particularly in British West Indies and also other islands where people go and they want fresh products. So they have this.
So you have fresh products on one side, but at the same time you have to have chemical free, because people are now going into organic. Organic is the thing.
Organic is what we have.
So your pitch has to be, especially for an environmental friendly organization such as yours, your pitch has to be organic. It has to be sustainable.
Yep.
It has to be profitable. So those are the key things that you have to market.
Sustainable profitability. Yep, got it.
Okay.
So the pitch that I'm trying to sell right now, it's based on profitability, because in Pakistan we have this concept of low awareness of environmental crisis going on. People just do not care about the things being sustainable. They care about, okay, if I have value in this, if my mom is happy growing products at home, she does have a farm, do it as a hobby, they'd more be likely to put in more value. If I tell them, okay, this is a sustainable thing and you're saving the earth and you're doing good on the carbon credit, you're not producing any carbon footprint, they won't get it. This concept is very unfamiliar with people of Pakistan.
Yes, but then the idea is that whom are you targeting? You're targeting the upper middle class or the upper class people. There are different ways of marketing. You have to think out of the box. You could be doing this marketing from colleges and universities, where you would be having children or students who come in there who would go back home and say, hey, I attended a lecture today. I would like to set up a farm in the house where I can produce my own food. And the person, the child would be able to convince the parents to invest into it. So your marketing strategy again has to be all encompassing. If you're targeting a wrong audience, you're not going to get anywhere.
Exactly.
So as we were talking about before also, gyms are one thing, and now we're talking about educational institutions. You can market it in Islamabad. You are at the right spot because you have the foreign embassies and you have a lot of foreigners in Islamabad. So those are the types of audiences that an organization like yours needs to actually target. So when in startups, what the problem is that when you become a startup, you don't have a sense of direction, you don't have a sense of guidance. So that is something that needs to be cultivated. In the incubation areas where you have, ideas are incubated, I have seen that there is very little interaction between the different firms that are there. There is, it would be like, let's have a town hall, let's get together, come up with your ideas, share your ideas. This is what I am doing. How can I improve on it? Those kinds of sessions I don't see taking place.
You're right on it. But over here, EPO is incubated at the National Incubation Center Islamabad, and how we're getting help from it, other startups are coming in, telling us about their ideas, and when they sit down and we talk about strategies, what are they doing, how are they marketing, and how is the app doing well for them, what can we do? So it's an in-house team where we can help each other out. I've helped other startups, they've helped me actually to get more sales.
Correct.
Recently I closed a deal with this restaurant, Langzo.
Okay.
It serves noodles, Chinese noodles, and they use mushrooms in their noodles and fresh vegetables. So a startup actually suggested me, nothing to do with sustainability, they're doing a healthcare system, but they suggested me. So this growth venture comes in with that. You're absolutely
sharing of information, collaborating, giving suggestions and feedbacks. Those are the things that will help you grow.
Inshallah, inshallah. So to just close this whole chapter of Green Solutions podcast down, if you could give your thoughts and your excitement about future of climate and financial environmental sustainability. What are the climate finances to this project?
Well, climate finance, yes, but the idea again, basically, we have talked about this before also. The message is clear. This is the thing for the future, and this is what is going to happen. We've talked about water shortage. We've talked about climate change. We've talked about sustainability. We've talked about less land area to cultivate and moving towards vertical farming. So it's the in thing. But the idea is to be able to also look into other development finance institutions. There are banks, there are other lending organizations that you need to tap into. with the idea.
I was targeting some of the banks for microfinances
Mhm.
because when I go to some clients and I tell them that okay, this is the product I'm selling,
Correct.
this is the amount, and they lag behind because of the initial high cost of introducing a vertical farm. So what I'm trying to do is similar to how solar panel came into Islamabad society and other urban societies with loans, right? They can connect with us, State Bank of Pakistan, HBL, or any other bank that are into green investments. They can connect with us, and we can provide the farms, and they can get installment plans ready for the clients. How about that?
That's a brilliant idea, and this goes not back. I mean, I can give you an example of something which I did way back in 2000, setting up computer centers in government institutions, which government schools students were being provided a computer center with, even 5% of the students had never seen a computer, let alone touch it. And this I'm talking about 2000.
2000, right?
It was a partnership between a bank, the NGO that was implementing the project, and the education department, being facilitated by the government of Pakistan Small and Medium Enterprise Development Authority. We set up these computer centers in about 16 schools in Peshawar, and then that program in a period of 9 months, and then that program was replicated from Peshawar division to Naushera division to Abbottabad division to the Hazara division, and that's how it was replicated. So you need to have partners that will buy into it. But again, the idea is you have to have the track record. You also have to have build trust and confidence with the people that you're working with, who will provide a reference for you. So those things are done and doable.
So you're saying network and synergies and partnerships, can help scale
Yes.
a startup to a
Yes,
higher level.
to a higher level.
Do you have any experience other than Pakistan, outside of Pakistan, how it was operable with partnerships and synergies?
Well, we've done this we've done this now recently in Mozambique, and that was again an agricultural project, coincidentally, where we were the organization was funding small farmers. So farmers needed equipment and seeds and fertilizer and equipment. Small equipment for small farmers, small landholders. So we came in as the donor, providing the funds for the farmers. But at the same time, we also had the agricultural suppliers come in and, have small fairs and farm, so that the farmers could go around and see the products and choose what they wanted to the value of the voucher that was given to them.
I see.
And that's a recent example there. So that was a cooperation between the local council, who identified the farmers and the people, the local community, and us as a donor, and the private sector as the suppliers.
So all this synergy came into a fruitful project for Mozambique in total, right?
Correct. And then the idea was that once they take the equipment and they take the seeds and fertilizer, you have to have the technical people there to teach them how to teach them and increase their knowledge.
That is how vertical farming works as well. When you install the product, we are there to help you maintain it. We are there to help you until the harvest and teach you as well with a certain subscription.
Plus guarantee that the product will be, extra produce will be sold.
Yeah, that is another
be
thing.
absorbed in the market. So you see, it's like a different circles. I mean, the universe moves in circles. All right. So these are circles overlapping each other, and they have to sing and dance together to be able to make the universe move. Amazing. And to make anything move, you have to have this group of circles intersecting at the proper time and at the proper place. Now you have for example, if it's the dry season in Africa and you go and have an agricultural farm, agricultural fair, it's going to be useless. So you have to have, it has to be the correct time, correct place, and the correct partners.
Amazing. Correct time, place, and partners. Well said.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ahmed Qasim Saab, for your very unique and very amazing output on our project on this podcast as well. You said a lot, and we believe that EPO and other startups would definitely get more and more growth with these aspects that Mr. Ahmed Kassim have told us through his experience. He has served as a finance officer with USAID as well, several projects in the MENA region. As you said that right now he's doing his project in Tharparkar, feeding the children and making livelihood better
Looking
for
at alternate
diabetic.
livelihoods, yes.
Yeah. So
Alternate livelihoods.
anybody hearing me out, anybody in Pakistan or at the global stake, please reach out to Mr. Ahmed Kassim. I will tag him into our podcast session. You can reach out and help this wonderful personality to his mission. And our mission at EPO is also to grow a sustainable future, growing tomorrow's food today. And with that, I'd like to end this. Dil da boota kabool hai ki nahi is our slogan, and I'm Moiz Bhatti, CEO of Environmental Productivity Organization. Thank you so much for your time.
We wish you all the best. We wish you all the best.
All right. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank
Have
you
a
very
nice
much. Thank you.